It was May 24, 2019. Jennifer Farber Dulos disappeared from her home in New Canaan, Connecticut. State police were desperate to find missing mother of 5, Jennifer Dulos.
In the search for a missing mother feared dead in Connecticut, it's been 13 days since Jennifer Dulos disappeared.
On May 24, 2019, a Connecticut mother of 5 went missing after returning home from dropping her children off at school. Her home quickly became a crime scene after her blood was found splattered throughout. Her estranged husband and his girlfriend were arrested on several charges related to her disappearance. While for some, the case seems solved, her whereabouts remain unknown. Welcome to Without a Trace. I'm your host, Jalen. Every file holds a mystery. Every story deserves to be heard. This is Jennifer's story. Jennifer Dulos was born on September 27, 1968, in New York City, to the wealthy parents Gloria and Hilliard Farber, a banker and philanthropist, respectively. Jennifer graduated from Brown University in 1990 and later earned her master's degree in writing. Fotis Dulos was born on August 6, 1967, in Turkey, but he grew up in Athens, Greece. He moved to the U.S. in 1986 and graduated from Brown in 1989. In June of 2000, he married Hillary, and that year he founded 4 Group, Inc., a real estate development company based in Connecticut that specialized in luxury homes. Fotis started emailing Jennifer, whom he had met at Brown, while he was still married to Hillary. His marriage to Hillary didn't last long, and Jennifer and Fotis married in Manhattan just over a month after his divorce. Jennifer and Fotis moved to Farmington, Connecticut, and had 5 children together, including 2 sets of twins and then a younger daughter. Their children were all named after Greek Orthodox saints: 3 sons, Petros, Theodore, and Constantine, and 2 daughters, Christiane and Cleopatra. Jennifer was a stay-at-home mom, making a living as a writer for Patch.com and running her own blog. Jennifer loved being a mother. She would sing to and laugh with her children. She was incredibly nurturing. In a 2012 blog post, Jennifer alluded to trouble in her marriage, saying, quote, "I wish I were a strong person and that confrontation did not both scare and appall me." By 2016, Fotis was away as many as 10 days a month. Jennifer claimed he had been living an increasingly independent life. It wasn't long before Jennifer learned about an affair between Fotis and his colleague, Michelle Troconis. She had found emails and receipts that showed Fotis had gone to Utah with Michelle for a trip. Jennifer confronted Fotis, and he admitted to having the affair. After finding out about the affair, Jennifer devised a plan. She rented a house in New Canaan, about 70 miles southwest of Farmington, and hired a moving company to help her move there with the children. However, Fotis would not allow the move to happen. When the moving company arrived, he would not allow them on the property to gather Jennifer's belongings. Jennifer was in tears as she called the moving company to reschedule. Eventually, after 4 reschedules, Jennifer asked the moving company to come in plain clothes in an unmarked van, and she made her escape. Following her move, Michelle and her daughter moved into the Dulos' residence in Farmington. After the gradual breakdown of the marriage, Jennifer filed for divorce in 2017. In her divorce filing, Jennifer wrote, "I know that filing for a divorce and filing this motion will enrage him. I know he will retaliate by trying to harm me in some way. He has the attitude that he must always win at all costs. He is dangerous and ruthless when he believes he has been wronged. During our marriage, he told me about sickening revenge fantasies and plans to cause physical harm to others who have wronged him." Jennifer then went on to say that Fotis had threatened to kidnap their children and bring them to Greece and disappear if she did not agree to his terms in the divorce settlement, and he had bought a gun. Fotis denied making threats and claimed he bought the gun legally for home security. Jennifer and Fotis filed numerous motions claiming that the other was disparaging them. Jennifer filed a motion requesting emergency custody of the children, but a judge denied this request, instead granting Jennifer and Fotis temporary joint custody of the children until the end of the divorce proceedings. Jennifer again requested an emergency order of custody in early 2018, saying that Fotis' behavior had, quote, significantly intensified in the last 3 weeks, and I'm afraid for my safety. I am afraid of my husband. The judge found that Fotis had violated several court orders. Fotis filed an objection to his wife's request for custody and denied most of her allegations. He said he had never become volatile with his wife, but accused her of yelling at him and calling him names. In March of 2018, Jennifer was awarded sole physical custody, while both parents were to share joint legal custody. Fotis was granted supervised visitation and monitored phone calls. In February of 2018, following the death of Jennifer's father, Jennifer's mother sued Fotis for unpaid loans. She claimed he owed them $1.7 million that was loaned to him by his father-in-law in 2004. In civil court, Fotis claimed the money was given to the couple as a gift to be used on their home loan. However, the court ruled that it was in fact given to Fotis for a loan for his business, and he was ordered that he must pay back the nearly $2 million to Jennifer's family. On May 24, 2019, Jennifer dropped her children off at school, then was seen at 8:05 a.m. on a neighbor's security camera returning home. This was the last known sighting of her. Later that day, she missed 2 doctor's appointments she had scheduled for 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. in New York City. Lauren, Jennifer's nanny, arrived at the house at 11:30 a.m. and was surprised to see Jennifer's Range Rover in the garage because Jennifer had planned to take it to her doctor's appointments instead of her Chevy Suburban, which was missing. Later that evening, around 7 p.m., 2 of her friends reported her missing after they failed to get in contact with her. Friends and family stated it was out of character for Jennifer to leave her home without telling anyone. When detectives searched the house, they found blood spatter on the floor, door, and a wall in the garage, as well as on the exterior of the Range Rover. Blood was also found in the kitchen. DNA tests revealed most of the blood to be Jennifer's, apart from the blood on the kitchen faucet, which was identified as a mixture belonging to both her and Fotis. Police found other evidence suggesting Jennifer was the victim of a serious assault. Jennifer's Suburban had been captured on the neighbor's security camera leaving her home around 10:25 a.m. on May 24th. According to authorities, Fotis was the one driving the victim's vehicle and was seen carrying the body of Jennifer and other items associated with a probable cleanup. The same evening, around 7:30 p.m., Fotis and Michelle were captured on video dumping garbage bags in 30 bins around Hartford. The trash bags were located to contain various pieces of bloodied clothing, used zip ties, and blood-stained cleaning items. The blood belonged to Jennifer. Fotis' DNA was found on the inside of a glove in one of the trash bags. Cell phone data indicated Fotis drove with Michelle to Hartford, where the pair stopped at 30 locations within a 4-mile stretch. Jennifer's Suburban was later found on the side of the road in New Canaan, just over 3 miles away from her home. Police searched numerous properties in and around Farmington and near Fotis' home without success. Investigators believe Fotis arrived by bike at Jennifer's home due to tire marks found. It is believed that he waited for her to return and killed her in the garage. Helicopters, canine units, and divers were used to look for signs of Jennifer, but nothing was found. There has been no activity on her credit cards and no calls made from her cell phone since she disappeared. On June 1, 2019, Fotis and Michelle were arrested in a hotel in Avon, Connecticut, and charged with tampering with evidence and hindering prosecution. There was no evidence at this time to warrant a more serious charge. Fotis and Jennifer's children moved to New York City to live with Jennifer's mother after she was granted temporary custody. Fotis was released on a $500,000 bond after pleading not guilty to the charges. He hired attorney Norm Pattis to represent him. Interestingly, in an interview prior to being hired by Fotis, Norm appeared convinced that Jennifer was dead. Michelle also pleaded not guilty to the charges. The pair were arrested again in September of 2019 for a second charge of tampering with evidence, and again they pleaded not guilty. In late October, it was reported that Michelle had moved out of Fotis's home in Farmington. On June 7, 2020, Fotis was arrested for a third time, this time, however, for capital murder, and kidnapping in relation to Jennifer's disappearance. Michelle was also arrested and charged with conspiracy to commit murder. Fotis's friend and former attorney, Kent Mooney, was arrested that day and charged with conspiracy to commit murder. In August of 2019, authorities discovered a shallow grave at a secluded property Kent owned. The grave was filled with 2 bags of lime and a blue tarp. While no body was found, authorities said items were found to have been removed from the grave. Jennifer's family issued a statement following the arrests, stating, quote, "Although we are relieved that the wait for these charges is over, for us, there is no sense of closure. Nothing can bring back Jennifer. We miss her every day, and we will forever mourn her loss." Fotis's bond was set at $6 million, and he was released the following day, due to return to court on February 28th. Michelle, also out on bail, was scheduled to appear in court on August 6th to face her charges. Kent was being held in lieu of a $2 million bond. While out on bail, Fotis failed to appear at an emergency bond hearing scheduled for January 28th. He was found unresponsive in his home, having poisoned himself with carbon monoxide by running a vacuum cleaner hose from the exhaust pipe of his SUV into the interior of the car while it was parked in his garage. Responders restored a faint pulse after doing CPR. He was taken to a hospital in the Bronx where he underwent hyperbaric oxygen therapy. He remained on life support, allowing his children to visit him. 2 days later, Fotis was taken off life support and pronounced dead. In a statement issued in May, Michelle said it was a mistake to have trust Fotis and maintained she did not know what happened to Jennifer or where she was. In October of 2020, Jennifer's family sought to have her declared legally dead. The request was denied 5 months later as the 7-year deadline required under Connecticut law had not elapsed. This same month, Kent's bond was reduced to $246,000 and he was released. In January of 2021, the Connecticut State Police visited property on Mountain Spring Road in Farmington, which was once owned by Fotis's real estate company, claiming they were following up on old leads. Several authorities could be seen behind the property digging up the yard. Police also brought in Bob Perry, an expert at finding unmarked graves, though he would not say if anything had been discovered. The next day, police returned to the property with an excavator and a septic tank. Authorities told media that they did not have any updates in the case. In October of 2023, another court granted an expedited request for a declaration of death since Jennifer's mother was at an advanced age. Michelle's trial began in January of 2024.
Prosecutors began laying out the state's case this morning.
This case, of course, gained international attention when it happened.
The interest in this story was immediate, it was intense, and it was sustained.
On March 1st, a jury found Michelle guilty on 6 criminal counts, including the top charge of conspiracy to commit murder. She was sentenced to 14.5 years in prison. To this day, Jennifer's body has not been found, and what happened to her in her home in May of 2019 remains a mystery. Thank you for listening to Without a Trace with your host, Jolynn. I hope you enjoyed our deep dive into Jennifer's disappearance. If you enjoyed today's podcast, please subscribe and follow the podcast on social media. And join me next week as I dive into another case.